Welcome to Ascending Soul's Journey. This is Lorianne, your psychic medium, here to give you spiritual connections live. This is where we take a look at different areas in the spiritual aspect of life. And I will answer your questions on a general spiritual basis. Today's topic is things that are actually signs that you were raised in a toxic, dysfunctional family. So there's a lot of different situations going on right now where people are going through inner growth and inner healing within your own self. And some of this has to do because you may have been triggered by an actual soulmate in your life that is actually destined to come in and help you do this healing. Sometimes we really don't know deep down within. Consciously, we are not aware of why we are in the journey, what we need to look at. So I am doing this for you. Some of you, you will be able to identify with this. So here are, I think I have 8 signs that you were raised in a toxic, dysfunctional home. This could be being raised by somebody who is abusive, somebody who is a psychopath, perhaps a narcissist. And I have said this before, a psychopath can be a narcissist as well. A narcissist does not mean they're a psychopath. They just might be really super mean, right? The first sign is everything that happens under this roof stays under this roof. Some of you may have heard that growing up. So what the families were taught is that family secrets are meant to be kept secret. We never say anything that makes mom and or dad look bad to other people, to the neighbors, to public, anything like that. Hello, you guys, welcome. And we never reveal the truth about what really happens underneath the roof of our home. If we do, when we're a child, when we're growing up, if we do that, there's major consequences to pay. Okay, that can be through a multitude of different types of punishment, treatment that were handed down by the parent or the parents, right? The second is to act older than you actually are. When we grow up in a toxic environment, the parents, one and or both of them, whoever is raising you, can tell you, stop acting like a child, grow up, right? Some of you have heard that. You know what I'm talking about. The parents are constantly telling you to grow up. Why don't you act more like your older sister or older brother or a cousin, etc., comparing you to somebody who is also a youthful individual, a sibling, a child, but they're older than you. Oftentimes they can even relate it to an adult, a young adult, like who's the age of 27 and you're 15. Why don't you act like them? You see where I'm going with that. And this is what entitles, if we're dealing with a narcissist, even any kind, the parent is working the child to be able to take care of the parent's emotional needs. The nurturing of the parent has nothing to do with the child. It's all about the parent. The parent wants this from the child, and it's support for them. So if they're sad, they may call upon their child and wanting their child to pick them up in an emotional level, which is way beyond the child's years. They don't even know how to do that. You had a mother and father like that? Yeah, a lot of us have. A lot of us were grown up in an environment like this. What this does is it creates cognitive distance. Okay, that's what happens when this takes place. The third is a parent will dismiss the child. I love you, but I'm just too busy. They can say things like, can you get me my coffee? Oh, okay, move away from the TV. Move. You're in my way. I'm too busy for you. Yeah, not now. You guys know what I'm talking about. I know you do, MT. So this is a really big part that a lot of dysfunctional families will do. And I don't mean, I was a single mom, as some of you are aware, and I raised my two youngest children completely alone. Dad wasn't anywhere around, and we didn't want him around. He was very dysfunctional, very toxic. And there were times that I was working because I had my own business. Plus, I worked a full-time job as well. So I would work during the day, take care of my kids, run them back and forth. When I put them to bed, then I would begin to work on my business. That was part-time. There were times the kids came in and I was like, oh, what'd you need? Okay, I'll get to that after I'm done with this. But I did not dismiss them. There's a difference between the two, okay? Number 4, we're taught that it is not okay to express our feelings. And a really good, and you guys have seen this happen quite a bit, it's an invalidation of feelings, of emotions. How would you know what you feel if you're a child, if you are not able to say, hey, I don't like green beans, right? And we weren't allowed to say that. You had to do whatever they wanted you to do. And the biggest one of all, and you guys can relate to this, is when a parent says, stop crying, and the child doesn't. The parent turns around and hits the child, stop crying. And the child cries more because now they have pain, physical pain, on top of whatever pain they were crying about originally. So now they have 2 woundings, and the parent's saying, stop crying, stop crying, stop crying. That's not okay. That is a sign of a toxic upbringing, a toxic environment. Okay. Number 5, it's okay to allow others to disrespect your boundaries, especially if it was somebody that loves you. So your parents teach you that boundaries are for them. Boundaries are rules for the children, but children do not create boundaries. They actually embed in our emotional thought process that we do not need to set rules. Anybody can cross. And as we get older, we may learn to set boundaries, right? Those of us who may go to counselors, psychiatrists, etc., we learn what a boundary is and how to set that boundary. What we don't learn is how to enforce it. So this is allowing dysfunctional people to be drawn to us and to cross the line. And we don't know how to handle that because our parents taught us we weren't allowed to defend ourselves. We were not allowed. So I think a lot of you guys can relate to that one. We're also taught to be hyper vigilant. And what I mean by that is don't talk to them. You can't trust them. You don't know where they come from. Some of you have heard your parents or whoever raised you use that type of terminology. You don't know those people. Why would you be around them? You don't know where they come. You don't know their background. Why would you be around them? How do you get to know people if you're not around them and interacting with them, right? In addition to that, how do we know how we think or feel about our own thought process and how we relate to people if we are not taught to be able to do that, right? So this is, don't do that, you might get hurt. They don't want you to jump on the jungle gym. They don't want you to play football. They don't want you to be a cheerleader. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with you being hurt or not. It's the fact that it's depleting your inner confidence. The child does not learn to make decisions for themselves, and then they question their own abilities. And I'm sure many of you have experienced that where you don't trust your own decisions that you make. You may go to other people and ask for their opinion because we are literally programmed to do that. The 5th is, the 7th is humiliation and degradation is love. No, humiliation is not love. And when we're raised by a narcissist who gives us the silent treatment and we keep going forward, creating that sense of humiliation. Every time they do not respond, we feel humiliated, we feel rejected, invisible, unwanted, and abandoned, even though they're 2 feet next to us, right? That's why sometimes we can actually feel as though we're alone when we're surrounded by a multitude of people. And number 8, the parents expect and or demand that the child is always perfect. Otherwise, they're not lovable. So that means you would have had to have gotten really, really good grades. And what you may have heard is your parent bragging about you to other people, saying how you get good grades, but not rewarding you. No verbal reward, no physical reward. If you didn't get the good grades, you would get in trouble, but you did not get praised for getting the good grades. So that's one example of that. This is, if you're not perfect, you're stupid. And many of you may have heard that growing up as well. What is wrong with you? Are you stupid? And I don't mean in a joking way. I mean, they really literally meant that. Yeah, that means you're not lovable. Show the homework. The child doesn't understand the homework. Ask the parent for help. And the parent is like, oh, come on, use your brains. What are you, stupid? Well, you don't know how to do the homework. That's why you're asking. So you do need guidance and assistance, but the parent is not taking on their responsibility as far as helping you. And some believe you should learn that in school, right? You are not allowed to make mistakes. A narcissistic parent, an abusive parent, they will humiliate you. They will embarrass you. Oftentimes, especially a narcissist, will embarrass you in front of other people. So these are 8 of the most, what I view as the most common signs that you were raised in a toxic environment. So for those of you going through changes and transformation in your life, whether it be brought on by a soulmate or you're making the changes, it doesn't matter. Changes and transforming the way you think about you, the way you view you, the way you view relationships. This can be a really big help for you to take a look backward in time and see where the repetitive cycle is taking place in your life, why you keep attracting certain types of people to you. How about, oh yeah. So Cynthia just said, how about if no one was allowed to the home? That's a very good point, Cynthia, because narcissistic, abusive parents do not want other people in the home. They don't want any of your friends in the home. If you're lucky, they'll allow one friend over occasionally. But no, they don't want anybody in the home, because if they're in the home, they can see the reality. Remember, a narcissist and an abusive person, including a psychopath, all of them create a fake world around them, especially the narcissist. So they don't want anybody. Yeah. So she's saying she never had anybody come over. And I have a lot of clients. I am an intuitive guidance counselor. I help people find the blockage, heal the blockage, and remove it. That's what I really do to help all of you. Yep. Okay, Liz, that happened to Liz too. That happened to me also. I have a feeling it happened to quite a few people out there. You are most welcome. So if you guys would like to ask some, hello, welcome. If you would like to ask general questions, these are not personal questions. Yes, so Francesca saying her mother hated her friends, and they do. And a good example of that, you guys have heard that I married my mother, right? So my first husband was actually an identical replica of my mother, but he actually was even worse than my mom. He was a true covert narcissist, okay? They don't want anybody around, ever. I mean, they just don't. Anything that takes the attention off of a narcissist, they don't want it around, okay? So Universal saying they never had a friend that the mother approved of. Nobody's good enough for their child, but in reality, the parent was probably telling you you're not good enough on some level, right? You didn't do something well enough, all of this. The father of my daughter was my mom's copy. So you married your mom, I think is what you're saying, Francesca. It took so much. Yes, and it does take a lot to understand the dark night of the soul. Absolutely. And I will do a segment on the dark night of the soul that's very intense. And actually, I'll be doing a video over the next week that'll be up on Vimeo, and I will announce it, but it will be up there. I'm getting my videos done for you guys that cannot work with me one-on-one. And these videos will be the beginning stages of what it takes for you to look back in your life, to analyze, to see where what needs to be changed. Charisse, I work with people one-on-one to help them figure out what needs to be changed and how to do that, how to make those changes. So, yeah. I hope it's working, Jeff. I hope that helps you, and I am here if you need me as well. Good, I'm glad you guys like this. You know, it's very difficult to go through this journey. It's very difficult to recognize something that you've had a lifetime of living over and over, especially if the person who is abusive to you is still actively in your life. They know how to push your buttons. They know how to get you where no one else, especially like a covert narcissist, that's the secret one that nobody knows that they're really like that. They look at them and say, oh, they're such a great person. But they know exactly. My brother and I used to have, and you guys might have done this when you were growing up too with your siblings, but we had a little special code for something. So if our hair was messed up, we could go like that. So we're in front of a bunch of people, 20 people in a room, and we look at them and go, pfft. Nobody knows what we're doing, but they knew that that's the signal. Hey, your hair looks really messed up. Go fix your hair. So we had little codes that we would use, and that actually helped in some ways because our parents didn't know what the coding was. They didn't even know we were doing it. So we kind of felt like we had one up on them. Not for long, though. Trying to live in the moment is difficult. Yes, Jeff, it is very difficult, but it is a very, very important part of life. We don't want to live in the past. We want to look at the past, pull the lesson from it, heal it, and release it. Then we take the lesson forward, whether it's positive or negative. We pull that lesson. I will never do this again. This worked really well. I'm going to do it again. Being in the moment means we do not base us or anything or anyone on the past. We do look for key factors. So if we were raised by a narcissist and we've been drawing narcissists into us for years, we want to take a look at that particular scenario. Okay. Looking at the lessons, but that doesn't mean we live in the past. And we never want to go too far into the future. You have to be in the now. How do you feel in the now? So it takes time. And that's the guided meditation video that I made for all of you. Okay. And it'll be on the link below. As soon as I'm done airing this, I will fix the verbiage that's in there. I haven't had time to go in and fix it. So I'll put the new, and you can click that link. That guided meditation video is to help open up blockages, is to allow the universe, the angels to come in and help you do the healing, to show you in your dream state what needs to be removed, what needs to be brought in, what needs to be healed. Okay, so that link is on every one of my public videos on YouTube. It's also on my website, ascendingsoulsjourney.com. So you guys, this has been a really good conversation. And if you have another question, please pop that up there. Just 1 or 2 lines. Don't put a huge paragraph. I can't see it. A lot of you have been waiting for me to announce that Finding Your Passion class will be offered in December. And I know a lot of you have been wanting to participate in it, and I am going to do it in December, but I'm also going to do intuitive tarot. So this is for those of you who are healers, who maybe you are doing tarot, you want to learn how to do it, you know you have intuition. I will teach you how to use the intuitive method through the cards, so you're not just reading that tarot card. I don't read the cards. I give you the message and they coordinate with the cards. Jeff, you want to, Jeff, what I'm going to recommend for you to do is look at the negative patterns in your life. You're replacing your feelings with food. So you want to look back and you want to see how that got there. As a child, you could have been rewarded with food. When you were good at something, you got given a brownie or something like that. So it sets it up in the subconscious mind. When I do good, I get this. When we are sad, again, it could have been the same thing where somebody around you gave you food. Oh, you're sad? Here, have this brownie, okay? And what do? And then we gain a ton of weight, and then we feel even more depressed. So take a look, Jeff, at your negative thinking process and the negative aspects in your life, and look at how you can release that and replace it with a positive, okay? Yeah, the dark night of the soul. So the dark night of the soul, if you guys have seen the questions on that, the dark night of the soul is actually after you've been triggered by a romantic, well, any kind of soulmate, after you've been triggered, where you and that person now part ways and you're trying to process what just happened. What just happened here? You can get turned upside down, completely upside. You've heard me talk about me being on my back like a little turtle, right? I can't get up, I can't get up. And that's really how we feel when we go through this. The dark night of the soul actually comes right after the triggering happens, after both people part and run away, one or both, but you're apart now. No more bliss. You're apart, and you will start having a tremendous amount of craziness all around you. You will hear voices. You could be seeing crazy dreams where you know that's your mother, you know that's your soulmate in the same dream with you, but they don't look the same, but you know it's them. You may have been in a past life with them, and the universe is saying, hey, this could be karmic. Do a past life regression. That's why I offer them, to see how it relates to what is blocking you in this lifetime. Yes, it can also help you find your passion in life, your spiritual path, why you know so much about certain things that you have never been educated on. So those past life regressions are really, really very beneficial and can help many of you in that area. But the dark night of the soul is about you getting to the lowest point in your life. You know, you all have heard, I'm sure, people say that people don't change until they hit rock bottom. That is the goal of what the soulmate is meant to do. Click, you know, and trigger you to hit rock bottom. When we hit rock bottom, we have nowhere else to go. We can't go down anymore. We are low, 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 low. All we can do is dig our way back up. We want to keep going up, right? And in order to go up, we've got to do the healing. So past life regressions, and Annie, yes, you can go to my website, you can send me an email, and I'd be happy to set you up with that. For those of you, if you are interested in the passion class, finding your passion, if you are interested in intuitive tarot, please send me an email at ascendingsoulsjourney@gmail.com. Yeah, no, I don't believe in that method. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's not something that I teach. If that's the purpose, you're already there. I'm not sure what that meant, Jody. I'm not sure what topic you were, what we were talking about. Okay, well, Jeff, if this Mark guy says do not follow your passion, then don't follow your passion. I don't get that, but that's up to you. That is absolutely up to you. All right, you guys, I love doing this for you. And if you are interested in any of my classes, especially the 2 new ones, the Intuitive Tarot is a very limited size class because I work one-on-one with you guys. Finding your passion, they're both, I need your email to let me know that you're interested, and I will be sending you information on that. So I do hope that you guys have a wonderful week. I may do it on a different day next week. I will not be working on Thanksgiving Day, so this show will not be Thursday. If I do change it to a different date, time, I will let you guys know, okay? So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. Much love.